If your teenager suddenly vanishes whenever you enter a room, it might not be hormones driving them away. It could be something much simpler. The phrases you keep saying on repeat. Those automatic parent responses that make your teen's eyes roll so hard they risk permanent injury. Today we're breaking down the 10 phrases teenagers secretly hate hearing most. And trust me, number 10 is the conversation killer that makes teens fantasize about being adopted by literally anyone else. Let's start with the classic that shuts down every discussion faster than a power outage during game night. Number 1. Because I said so. Nothing announces that you've officially run out of logical arguments quite like this parental emergency brake. Your teen just presented their case with 3 solid points in supporting evidence, and your brilliant counter-argument is essentially executive privilege. This phrase teaches exactly one lesson. Power always beats logic. Fantastic preparation for healthy adult relationships, right? Here's what happens when you drop this bomb. Your teen asks why they can't borrow the car, and you respond with, "Because I said so." That's like them asking for dinner and you handing them a Wi-Fi password instead. Research from MIT shows that teenagers who receive actual explanations for rules develop stronger critical thinking abilities. The ones who get hit with, "because I said so," just become experts at not asking questions to your face. Behind your back, though, they're still Googling, texting about it, and probably turning you into a meme. Your teenager's brain is literally wired to question everything right now. It's not defiance, it's biology. When you shut them down with parental rank, they don't learn reasoning. They learn that authority matters more than logic. Instead of defaulting to "because I said so," try giving an actual reason. Even if it's honestly, "I'm too exhausted to explain this right now," that's still more genuine than pulling rank. Your teen isn't challenging your authority, they're trying to understand how the world works. There's a massive difference. If that one stung a little, number 2 is where parents accidentally become economics professors with questionable teaching methods. Money doesn't grow on trees. Breaking news alert, currency isn't botanical. Thank goodness you cleared that up. Your teenager was absolutely convinced that 20s sprouted from oak branches and was about to apply for a job as a professional leaf harvester at the Federal Reserve. When your teen asks for $20 and you respond with, "Money doesn't grow on trees," you might as well add that water is wet and the sky appears blue during daylight hours. The problem isn't that this phrase is wrong, it's that it doesn't actually teach financial literacy. It just teaches your teen that you think they're idiots who need basic economics explained through garden metaphors. Next, you'll be clarifying that credit cards aren't magical rectangles and banks don't distribute cash to anyone with a pleasant smile. Research from the Journal of Consumer Affairs reveals that teenagers actually learn money management through real conversations about budgets, expenses, and trade-offs, not sarcasm disguised as nature lessons. Your teen already understands that money must be earned. What they don't know is that your mortgage costs $2,000 monthly, groceries run $300 weekly, and their phone plan is $50 every month. Instead of botanical wisdom, try explaining that the hoodie they want costs $200, which represents 20 hours of minimum wage work. Now they're calculating instead of rolling their eyes at your tree-based financial advice. Here's what you need to acknowledge. They'll probably learn more about compound interest from a 19-year-old on social media than from your photosynthesis economics lecture. "Money doesn't grow on trees" ranks as the most overused phrase in parenting. Technically accurate, completely unhelpful, and repeated way too frequently. Moving to number 3, the phrase where parents transform into discount fortune tellers, making predictions they can't possibly verify. When you're a parent, you'll understand. Ah yes, the classic parental time machine defense. Too bad your teenager can't confirm this prophecy for another 15 years minimum. Translation: I don't actually have a solid explanation, so I'm betting that future you will agree with current me. Stanford psychology research demonstrates that dismissing teen concerns with future predictions actually damages parent-teen trust. Teenagers, like everyone else, want validation right now. not promissory notes for enlightenment arriving sometime in the 2040s. Think about what you're really saying here. You're declaring their current perspective invalid until they successfully reproduce. And what about people who never become parents? Are they doomed to eternal confusion about why you can't knock before entering their room? Here's what you mean. This situation is complicated to explain. Here's what they hear. Your opinion won't matter until you create offspring. Better swap the prophecy for honesty. Try saying, "It's difficult to explain how much I worry about you." That's genuine, that's vulnerable, and it doesn't require them to unlock some parenting achievement just to be taken seriously. Number 4 brings us to the phrase parents deploy when they're losing the argument and suddenly decide to flash the family hierarchy like a badge. I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. Breaking news. Your teenager already figured this out. They realised it somewhere between you forcing vegetables into their mouth at age 7 and banning movies that every other kid was quoting during recess. Nobody is confusing you with their chemistry class buddy. The truth is, this phrase typically appears when you're losing the debate. Your teen makes a valid point, and suddenly you're pulling out the family organisational chart like a reminder that you're at the top and they're at the bottom. It doesn't add logic to your argument, it just adds power dynamics. Yale research shows the sweet spot involves parents who maintain boundaries while staying approachable. You don't need to be their buddy, but being friendly helps, because what your teenager actually needs is a safe place to land, not constant reminders about the chain of command. Number 5 is the phrase parents love using when they don't have a reason, but desperately want credit for having one. You'll thank me later. Later when exactly? Next Tuesday? At their wedding? During therapy while they're processing piano lesson trauma? This phrase basically translates to, I don't have an explanation you'll accept right now, so I'm outsourcing gratitude to your future self. Harvard research shows teenagers literally struggle to process long-term consequences because their brains are designed for present moment thinking, not someday you'll appreciate this. Asking them to be grateful for something they currently hate is like asking someone to enjoy a root canal because their teeth will feel amazing in 6 months. And let's be honest, the things parents think kids will thank them for rarely match what kids actually appreciate later. You think they'll thank you for piano lessons? Reality check. They'll thank you for not posting their embarrassing baby photos on social media. If you can't explain why something matters right now, you'll thank me later isn't a reason. It's a gamble on future emotions you can't control. Coming up with number 6, the all-time classic that makes every teenager want to tunnel straight out of family dinner. When I was your age. Gather around, everyone. It's time for another thrilling episode of The Good Old Days. When I was your age, we didn't have smartphones. We actually had to talk to people face to face. Cool story. Northwestern research shows these back in my day lectures don't bridge generational gaps. They actually widen them. To teenagers, it sounds like historical fiction. You had to walk to your friend's house to see if they were home. They have to decode whether being left on red equals social death. You had 3 television channels. They navigate infinite streaming options, plus the pressure of maintaining perfect online personas across multiple platforms. Your teenager doesn't need rotary phone nostalgia. They need help surviving social media drama without ending up permanently exiled from group chats. The challenges are different, not easier or harder, just completely different. Number 7 takes us into passive-aggressive territory, so advanced that teenagers wish witness protection programs accepted applications from minors. Is that what you're wearing? No, Mum, this is my hologram. My actual body is wearing a tuxedo with a cape. This question isn't curiosity. It's parent code for change your clothes. But I want you to think it was your idea. It's not the Socratic method, it's fashion sabotage. Here's reality. Your teenager spent 45 minutes selecting that outfit, They checked it in 17 different mirrors, sent photos to 3 group chats, and even performed the sitting down test. That outfit survived more approval rounds than a NASA launch, and you just destroyed it with one fake question. Psychology Today research reveals that criticism disguised as questions cuts deeper than direct feedback because everyone knows it's not a genuine question. It's clothing gaslighting. Let's be honest, is that what you're wearing ever resulted in a teenager saying, "You know what, you're absolutely right. Let me swap this hoodie for a tasteful cardigan"? If it's a practical concern, say it might be too cold for tonight. If it's just your personal preference, maybe keep that internal commentary to yourself. They're not dressing for your approval. Number 8 tells teenagers that their biology is fundamentally broken. You're too young to be tired. Oh, I apologise. I didn't realise exhaustion had age requirements like voting or car rentals. This phrase usually comes from the same person who collapses on the couch after a 45-minute grocery store expedition. Meanwhile, your teenager has been awake since 6 a.m, survived 7 classes with 7 different teachers, crammed in 3 hours of homework, attended practice, and managed 17 simultaneous social media conversations. Johns Hopkins sleep research confirms that teenagers actually need more sleep than adults because their brains are still under construction. They're not being dramatic, they're being biological. Don't forget emotional exhaustion either. High school social dynamics are basically 3-dimensional chess, played blindfolded while everything's on fire. When you dismiss their tiredness, you're essentially saying their experiences aren't real, which is pretty rich coming from someone who complains about being exhausted after back-to-back video calls. Number 9 brings us to the Suffering Olympics Championship phrase. You have it so easy. Compared to what exactly? The Great Depression? The Stone Age? This phrase has been passed down through generations like a family recipe nobody actually requested. Even prehistoric humans probably complained that their kids had it easy because they got to use fire. This isn't a hardship competition where someone always wins by having it worse. Modern teenagers are juggling cyberbullying, active shooter drills, climate anxiety, a collapsed job market, and pressure to curate flawless online identities before their brain development is even complete. But sure, having to rewind VHS tapes was truly brutal. Your teenager doesn't need historical context about how much easier their life is. They need support navigating challenges that didn't exist when you were their age. Different doesn't mean easier, it just means different. Finally, we reach number 10, the ultimate conversation destroyer. The phrase that ends discussions faster than internet going out during an online game. You'll understand when you're older. This is the parental nuclear option, the ultimate power cut. The, I can't explain this properly, so let's make it your problem sometime around 2040. This phrase assumes 2 completely false things. First, that wisdom magically downloads with age, and second, that your teenager will wake up on their 25th birthday thinking, "Oh yes, now I totally get why Mum screamed about wet towels on the bathroom floor." Plot twist. Adults don't understand everything either. Most of us are improvising, Googling, "Is this rash normal?" or "emergency room worthy at 2 a.m?" and hoping nobody notices we're making it up as we go. Your teenager doesn't need a promissory note for future enlightenment. They need explanations right now, in language they can actually process, not some mythical wisdom update that supposedly arrives once they start paying car insurance. Here's the bottom line. These phrases don't teach anything valuable. They shut down conversations instead of opening them up. They create distance when you're trying to build connection. Your teenager is already dealing with enough challenges without having to decode your automatic responses that probably frustrated you when you heard them years ago. The good news? Once you recognize these conversation killers, you can replace them with responses that actually work. Instead of, "because I said so," try giving real reasons. Instead of, "money doesn't grow on trees," have genuine discussions about budgets and priorities. Instead of, "you'll understand when you're older," Try explaining things in ways that make sense right now. Your teenager wants to connect with you. They want to understand your reasoning. They want to feel heard and valued. These 10 phrases do the exact opposite of all those things. Drop them from your vocabulary, and maybe, just maybe, your teenager will start talking to you again, in a good way this time. Which phrase did your parents use on you that still makes you cringe? Drop it in the comments below. Bonus points if you can still hear their exact tone when they said it. And if you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe, because we've got plenty more parenting insights coming your way.